The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest TV. Tonight, we're doing things a little bit different, as you can tell by looking at your screen. And if you're trying to watch on Instagram, I apologize. But then again, you would not have heard me say that, but we're not going out to Instagram tonight because it's too complicated. It's just too complicated. We threw together this idea. I wanted to do something for Cosplay with a Cause. And so we threw it together, and then I didn't want to put in the extra effort to a whole production of it. So we went the easy way. We went StreamYard because I am a lazy fuck. But here we are, everybody. September 20th. God, that's going to drive me nuts. My dashboard over here actually has a live video on it, and I'm going to shut that off. It's on a delay. Anyway, September 20th. 1 month from now, I'll be thinking about going home. Yeah, that'll be where I am. Everybody, of course, we have some of the members of Cosplay with a Cause with us tonight. Joe Lewis will be reviewing The Watchers. I actually do have that loaded for later in the show. And so let's just get going. Someone tell me about Cosplay with a Cause. I see you guys everywhere. Elizabeth, you can take it and run with it. But I see you guys everywhere. But other than knowing that you dress up, tell me what you all actually do.
So we are a nonprofit group that raises funds for other local nonprofits and providing help wherever we can in the community. We have raised money and worked with places like Greenhouse 17, Lexington Humane Society, Jared's Joy Cart, Blameless Children. We also provide free entertainment as cosplayers for other nonprofits when they are having events to raise their own funding.
Now, is this one thing I never understood, because I've actually seen the name used elsewhere? Is this like part of a bigger organization? Is it local to Kentucky? Tell me, what type of organization do we have here?
So we are local to Kentucky. Being cosplay, play on words is a little hard to come up with. Our founder, Greg Frederick, is the one that had come up with the name Cosplay for a Cause Foundation. But there are a lot of similar named organizations that do the same thing that we do across the United States. But Cosplay for a Cause Foundation is its own thing in Kentucky.
Okay, I was just Googling to see there actually somebody has used another variation of it. And
yeah,
just because I thought I had this great brainstorm that didn't pan out actually. Okay, now we'll just go around. I'll do this clockwise for sake of my sanity. But I'm gonna start with you, Elizabeth, because you're on the spot. By the way, everybody, she gets extra kudos because it's not often that my guest actually books my show for me. Everyone you see on your screen was her idea, except for her, which was our idea. Yes. So just so you know. When did you become, let's start with when you became involved with the organization. How long and what drew you to it?
So in 2019, it kind of been formed already by Greg, and he had like a group of people that wanted to help where they could. And then it was his idea, along with Lee Davis, which everybody knows is Calypso, to try and turn this into a nonprofit. And I had known Lee for as long as he's been at Scarefest. And he asked me if I wanted to be part of it. So I came in, I'm the one that helped with paperwork, turned it into an actual legal nonprofit. And then we just kind of went from there. And every year we have built and grown, and we are what we are today.
Okay, now I'm going to jump over to Amy. Amy, when did you
Yes.
become, and what drew you to the organization?
So I think it was 3 years ago, I think. This is my third year. So I had always kind of seen their booth at different places, and I was like, I really want to join that. I do live 3 hours away from Lexington, so it was hard for me to be able to do it. But my dad is also a member. And he kind of was like, if you come and stay with us or stay with me, you can do events and everything and make it a lot easier. I just really enjoy being able to, for one, dress up in costumes instead of just have them hoarded in my closet. But I also just like to be able to go out and, like do events for kids and adults too, and just enjoy spending time in the community because I grew up over there. I just don't live there anymore. So.
Okay, now I'm dropping down to you, Lola. Now, everybody, of course, now this is Lola from the Scarefest. If you don't know her, you've not been paying attention or you're a newbie. But the lovely Lola. Okay, Lola. Now, I knew you cosplayed. I'd seen you cosplay. I did not even know you were part of this organization until last night.
Really?
Yes, really. So, how long have you been involved and what drew you to it?
I think 3 years. That sounds about right. As you said, I've been cosplaying for a long time. I started doing cosplay back in 2014, I think, when I had different groups that I would go do cosplay with. And I ran across the group, and just the people that were in it were amazing. And watching them with the children and with other cosplayers, and just an awesome energy that they just brought to everything, and I wanted to be a part of that. And since I've been with them, I've gotten to do some amazing things. Blameless Children is one of my favorites, just giving back to those kids, and they've been through so much, and seeing their faces light up when they see us come through the door. We did Walk for Wishes one time for Mesh Foundation, which is another group that I've done a lot of stuff with, and just amazing group of people, and I love being around them.
Okay, we'll end that question with you, Art.
When I've been here for about 4 years, give or take, always enjoyed being in a costume, but with this group, just putting smiles on faces. Ultimately, at the end of the day, giving somebody, one of my favorite costumes is Ernie, and for people to take them back to when things were innocent and nobody was worried about a house payment, nobody's worried about a car payment. They're sitting in front of the TV watching cartoons, eating their Teddy Grahams. And if I can give somebody that for 30 seconds of their life where all the bad is gone, that brings me so much joy.
Now, how many members are there, let's say right now, that you can, I mean, you don't have to be exact number, but
I think there's 36 of us.
Okay.
Give or take.
Yeah, I was a give or take. There's around 32 to 36 of us.
32 to 36. Okay, now she's already mentioned that Amy already mentioned she's like 3 hours away. How widespread is the membership as far as, and I guess I'm going to ask it this way. How much do people want to do this that they're willing to drive?
We have had people, I want to say Lola and Amy are probably the furthest away right now. But we have had people from all the way out to Western Kentucky, Indiana. We have a couple, Tennessee. We have a young junior member, which doesn't come very frequently because he's still underage. And they're down in Tennessee also. And we have another member that lives near Amy. So I'd say about 3 people are driving about 3 to 4 hours sometimes to come to the events.
Okay. Amy, now we're going to get off the business part of it so much. Let's start with what drew you to actually just being a cosplay person.
I don't know. I just always, to be honest with you, I don't know. I always like to make like my own Halloween costumes, and growing up, I learned how to sew at a very, very young age, and just kind of like to make costumes and my own clothes, and the costumes at Walmart and Kmart and stuff weren't good enough. So I just had to make my own, and I always wanted to do cosplay and just never really had the opportunity to do it. So then, I started doing it at like conventions like Comic Con and Scarefest and stuff. And then, the group started, and I was like, this is the perfect place for me to go. So, but I honestly, it's been something I've done since I was super, super little. I just never really knew it was cosplay.
Okay. Lola, since I've never known you not to cosplay, I'm just going to ask you the same question. What made you start wearing costumes in public?
Well, to be honest with you, I did it a long time ago as a means to escape reality, which is kind of a dark reason to do it. But it evolved because I had so many people come up and go, "Oh my God, I love your costume. Can I take a picture with you?" Or "How did you put this together?" Or I'm so amazed that somebody else likes this, referring to what I was dressed up as. And it became a way to get me out of my shell by getting other people out of their shell, because it was something you can communicate with. If you see somebody in a costume that you like, no matter how shy you are, you will walk up to that person and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you look so good." And it's something that brings out the best in people.
Now, further endorsement of Lola, I want to tell, I think it was Lexington Comic Convention 2 or 3 years ago. I went to work the booth, and Lola was working the booth, and she had on her little, it was some type of clown thing. White.
Yeah.
I remember the white. I didn't even recognize you. If you had not spoken, I would not have known who you were. That is the only way that I knew who I was talking to. Art, are you the adult in the crowd, and what got you there?
The truth be told, I'm an attention whore.
Truth.
Ultimately, I just like to make people smile and laugh. So, whatever I can do. Didn't even realize that cosplay was a thing. I like to be in a costume, like to put smiles on faces, and there was a call out on Facebook for cosplayers. Didn't even know what it was, and here I am.
And finally, back to Elizabeth.
I was
now. Okay, now first of all, before you tell your story, I'm gonna fuss. When I go through the pictures, everybody be in costume, and you're the one that's not. You go to all the events, and a lot of times you don't dress up. So now I'm just gonna call you out. But
because I'm old and it gets hot. I was the weird theater kid. I have, just like Amy, store costumes were never good enough. My parents always helped me make amazing Halloween costumes. Did theater for years, and I cosplayed a little bit years ago. And then when my daughter got old enough and wanted to start going to the Comic-Con and stuff, I started cosplaying with her. And then that's how we got into the group. So my daughter's actually part of the group also. So is my son, my father, and the whole, my mom is, the whole family is. And so when we found out that we could do this hobby that we were doing to give back to the community, we couldn't pass it up. What better way to give back to the community while you're having fun with one of your hobbies?
I like it.
See, I remember when cosplay used to just be called trick or treating.
They don't give us candy.
Now there's a good argument about that, because old cosplayers will tell you that cosplay is costume portraying the character, but trick-or-treating is just throwing it on a costume that you would like to be that character. So, but it's changed a little bit over the years. So,
and there's candy involved in trick-or-treating.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but there's a whole psychology about that. People do things for candy.
No white van.
Now, okay, since we kind of because I brought it up, as cosplayers, I asked this question to my guest last week because we were talking about cosplay. So, as cosplayers, is Halloween your favorite holiday, or is it like New Year's Eve is to a drunk, just another party?
Halloween is my whole entire life. Everybody will tell you my home is Halloween all year long. Everything about me is Halloween. I absolutely adore Halloween.
Amy, do you go all out for Halloween? I'm the same as Liz. My house is decorated all year long. My son at the moment has more costumes than I do, I think, because I've passed that on to him. And it's all, everything is Halloween about my house all day, every day.
I don't have to ask Lola because I know she ghost hunts. And
but okay, skeletons behind me on the mantelpiece, and I got random.
And you're sitting there with a creepy doll. But is Halloween
are awesome.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. But is Halloween as the holiday, is that a season you look forward to?
Absolutely.
As a cosplayer. Even you are. Is it important to you too, Art? Is that your holiday?
It's not necessarily my favorite. I'm more of I like to dress up as a giant leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day.
There you go. See?
So, but all year long, I'm good to go.
All right. Now, I want to know what everybody... Okay, I'm going to ask this in two parts. Because I know a lot of your events that you all do, you kind of follow... Sometimes you'll follow a theme. In other words, all the members will come dressed as superheroes. Or everybody will come in Renaissance, whatever. Or elves, or Renaissance is really not a good descriptive term. Fantasy forest, whatever. I want to know what everybody's first. What is your favorite genre to do as a group? Amy, we'll start with you.
I really like fantasy stuff, like the Renaissance elves kind of thing. It's sad to say I don't know a lot about superheroes, and I don't have a lot of superhero costumes, but Disney, fantasy, anything like that, that's probably my favorite to do.
Lola, what's your favorite? Your favorite genre?
I don't think I have one, because I was sitting here thinking about all the costumes that I have, and they run everything from Little Mermaid to Morticia to Captain Marvel. I'm all over the place.
I don't think I've ever seen her Captain Marvel. I'll have to catch the Captain Marvel. So so in other words, whatever the group, everything's the same to you as far as when the group says, "Hey, we're doing so and so," you pull something out of the closet and you're good. You're good to fly.
I can do that. I have enough. I could just pretty much pull something out of the closet.
Okay, Art, what's your favorite genre?
Well, of course, superheroes is always number one. But I found myself with the group. We have Cookie Monster, Ernie, Bert, Big Bird. I get a big joy when we're together as a group to bring back those memories for people. And so, like I said, that just gives me Sesame Street, just to see the memories flood back on people. Just that's probably the one I love the most.
And it's the hottest.
And one of the hottest costumes.
And little Elizabeth, what is your favorite genre of group costumes?
Mine is also fantasy. I enjoy doing all the evil characters of Disney and Hocus Pocus. I think my only nice one is Fairy Godmother, which the group calls me Fairy Godmother because that's the one I took over, and that's my easiest one. But I prefer doing like my Winifred from Hocus Pocus and ones like that.
Okay, now we're gonna drill it down just a little more. Amy, if you were to
Yes.
walk into your closet or wherever you keep your shit at, and you want, what is your favorite absolute character that you portray? Your favorite costume?
The Queen Amidala from Star Wars.
Star Wars. We've got a Star Wars. Lola,
Yeah.
your favorite costume?
Seriously, I can't. It would have to be a tie between Lydia, the wedding dress,
Okay.
and Hella.
Okay.
Hella, Thor Hella?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
with
I
the
have no
big
idea
head
she had all this shit.
piece.
she looks amazing in it too.
I absolutely believe you. Okay, Art, are you sticking with Cookie Monster, or do you have another one that's your actual favorite?
No, the wife does Cookie. I do Ernie, and
okay.
That's my pride and joy. I actually built him. So Ernie's my favorite, easiest to get in and out of. So that's definitely my favorite.
And Elizabeth,
Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts.
Yes. And we actually have that picture together of the two of us at Scarefest one year.
You mean you and I?
Yes.
Okay, well, I believe you.
You were the white rabbit. You were the white rabbit.
Oh, yeah, I was Captain. That's what is the name of that character? Captain Jack Rabbit.
Yes.
Because he's a pirate.
Yes.
Amongst a lot of other.
Now, okay, that's actually a good follow-up. When you all start a cosplay or get into cosplay or whatever, my cosplay for years, whenever I do it, I almost always just create a character. Now, I'm guilty of creating the character based on what the fuck I have. In other words, I don't know what the Captain Jack Rabbit came to me in this. I was on Facebook, I think, and I was just farting around, and I got to thinking about a rabbit that was a pirate because he could have the hook, and they took me lucky foot,
I like it.
And so I just created this entire character. My tomb attendant, I created it. It's not fashioned after anyone. Amy, when you start a cosplay or the cosplay that you've done, did you have something envision a character, or did you just kind of layer upon layer? Did you create it from scratch as far as the character, not the costume? How do you look at that? How do you go about that?
So a lot of mine are based off of other characters. I don't have a lot of original characters, so I do a lot of, I'll sit down and say, I really like this character, I really like this costume that they wear, and then I'll do research, and Pinterest is my best friend, and I get on there and I look for ideas of how other people might have done it. It's a good way to find like close-ups of detail and things like that, and then I just sit down and start getting all the pieces together, and then just work on putting it together into one big costume or little costume or whatever. But I'll do a lot of research first before I sit down and start creating whatever costume I'm doing.
Same question to you, Lola. Do you create a character, or do you dress as a character? That's how I should have asked the question. That's the proper way to ask that.
So the clown that you recognized me from is Lola the Clown. And that actually came about because Patty, the original owner of Scarefest, said, you always do all this dark stuff. Can you do something that's got some color? And I was shopping one day and found the wig. The wig is pink and black. And I'm like, oh, that would be a perfect clown. So the whole outfit was designed around one, the wig, and two, what Patty said I should do. So it is very dark, but it's got lots of color with it and very bright. That's how my thought process goes.
I never did my clown cosplay. Art, okay. Obviously, if you're doing Ernie, do you ever go in to create a new character, or do you just pick a character and go with it?
A little bit of both. I created my version of Jack Frost, which was, obviously Jack Frost exists, but then kind of did my own spin on it with the light up staff and the blue velvet costume. So it kind of goes just depending on what the mood strikes is where I'm going to work with it.
And Elizabeth.
Same thing. I usually take a character and then I make it my own. Once in a while, especially at conventions, we have a little more free reign, so we're allowed to make original costumes. So like LCTC last year, a lot of us did Fallout, and we did original characters based off the Fallout game, which we always enjoy to do because we can be a little more artistic with, getting everything together. But like my Queen of Hearts, I have the actual Queen of Hearts from the cartoon that we wear to like children's events and stuff. But when I first started, my Queen of Hearts was based off of what I thought the Queen of Hearts could look like until I was able to get my hands on the original cartoon costume.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to pop in. We're going to do basically my little announcement / commercial break, although I don't have commercials tonight. Everything's just on the announcement, so I'm going to do it. It's going to be real, let's call it low tech here, because I'm just going to layer it over top of all of us and tell everybody about it. First up, I want to tell everybody the Ghost Hunt. If you're thinking about getting tickets, it is actually down to 8 spots. There are 8 spots left on the Ghost Hunt. So if you've been holding off, I have never heard so many people say, "Oh, I was waiting until I got paid. Damn it, they're out of weekend passes." Well, we're going to be out of this too. At this rate, it will not last. You will not be able to buy it at the show, is my prediction. But yes, 8 spots left. So if you want to go on our Celebrity Ghost Hunt, details are online. Go to scarefestweekend.com. Casualty Friday this one has not sold up to expectation. Now, everybody, I know you've heard them on YouTube. My understanding is this is not just going to be, they're going to sit up there and do their thing. They're actually, I'm understanding, either going to, I'm not sure if they're going to stream it live, but, which if they do, they'll probably be on me. But they are going to, my understanding is they're actually going to record this for release as their podcast. So, Casualty Friday, Tiffany, Felissa, and that other guy. So. Okay, next weekend. Next weekend is a big weekend. I started off Saturday by running a 5K. Actually, I'll be walking about at least half of it. But the point is, I will be at a 5K first thing in the morning. Then I drive to Bowling Green to the Full Moon Sisters Bazaar. If you want to find out more about that, go to mamarubies.com. They've got all the information online, but that is next weekend, next Saturday and Sunday, 29th and 30th, a magical shopping and entertainment experience. I will be there reading really bad tarot. Now, if you don't want to go to Bowling Green, the Central Kentucky Mystical Market has their monthly fair also next weekend, 28th and 29th. That is Saturday at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday, it doesn't start till noon, 12 to 5. Find out that at scarefestweekend.com. Now, this is one Adrian told me to tell you all. We have 2 days left. If you were wanting to order the reprint of the zombie t-shirt from a Scarefest previous, you have 2 days. There will be no extensions. and there will be no extras at the convention. This is your last chance if you want to get the Zombie Scarefest shirt. They're doing it pre-order, worldofstrange.com. It's and I'm gonna tell you, pay attention, because I actually had trouble finding this on the group. It was we have not pushed this like we probably should have. Worldofstrange.com. If you want to pre-order, and it will be delivered at the Scarefest. We're not shipping them to you. So there, you got that. And last thing on my little list of to tell yous, the Caribbean Carnival coming up February 15th. I am sure that my cosplayers will also be there. They were at the last one. The Caribbean Carnival coming up February 15th. Save the date. And now I got to go back and no, I didn't have to hide it. I thought I had to hide everything to get rid of that, because I hadn't been doing that. Okay, I got nothing left. I don't know what we're going to talk about now. As far as now I do want to get more into the workings of cosplay with the cause. I understand. Okay, you give money to other charities and you do a lot of kids things. What do you all actually do to raise the money that you give away?
So a lot of our members will either help make things. We get items donated, and we will sell them at different events that we're invited to, like Scarefest, Comic-Con. We were just at Save Fest in Lawrenceburg. We sell those items, and then we take that money, and that's what we donate back to the community.
As far as, I'm not gonna, that would be crass. I'm not gonna ask. Is children charities, is that what you mostly focus on? Unless you want to name one, I won't ask you to. Or is it just really a shotgun effect across the board?
So we usually try to vote as a group so that everyone can get involved on what means the most to them. We do focus on a lot of children's groups, actually more with entertainment and providing the entertainment so they can raise funds. But we try to help wherever it is needed in the community. So we've done everything from veterans to Humane Society, the different children's groups. Well, we provided toys to Joy Cart, which is a foundation that delivers toys to the kids that are long-term in the hospital. Blameless Children, we go and help them with their large event. That is an event for children with that have parents as addicts, and they just make a fun day where they can come and be with other children who have gone through the same situation as them. And we put on kind of like a carnival thing where we pass out about a bunch of toys that were donated to the organization, and just provide fun with the entertainment and games and whatever we can to help out.
Okay. Tell me about the Polar Bear Plunge.
Our worst nightmare.
Cold as hell.
So the Polar Plunge goes to the Special Olympics. We have done it for 2 years now. Don't know if we're going to do it for a third. I think we're getting a little too old. We almost lost one of our members last year. Art's wife knocked herself out jumping into the pool last year.
Well, that could have happened any time of year. That's,
It started off as something that we always wanted to do, like it was a bucket list thing, and none of us were going to Alaska, so we decided that we would do it. We would do it as a nonprofit event, help somebody in the community out, and so we have raised
we raised
$3,000 last year and $2,000 a year before, just among our own organization, to give to them, and then the funds help run the Special Olympics every year. But we have decided every year we do a different theme, and we plunge in full cosplay into the water.
Dude, that's what caught my eye about it when I saw the pictures. You told me you were doing somebody. I don't know if I was talking to you or it might have been Joe I was talking to. Somebody said, "Oh, we're doing the Polar Plunge." Oh yeah. Now I remember going to summer camp. And one year it had rained a lot and the pool was cold. I cannot imagine. The only thing I have in relation to that, I did jump in a pond once to save a calf in the dead of winter. Okay. So I do, but I almost went into shock too. So I just want to put that out there. But doing it in actual cosplay to me is not the most swim friendly. Let's take the cold out of it.
Yeah.
What made you all do that?
Well, it's who we are. And so that we kind of stood out from the crowd, and hopefully in the future, if we decide to do it again, people would be willing to donate to us if we were crazy enough to jump in full cosplay. And it's worked because we gained another $1,000 the next year. But it is not. I mean, it's as cold as when you jump to save that cat. And last year
it was a calf. It wasn't a cat. Fuck a cat. Cat falls in the pond.
Hold him under till the bubble stop.
I might throw something out there to him, but I'm not going in a pond for a cat ever. I wouldn't jump in a swimming pool in July to save a cat. Just putting that out there. And I like cats, oddly enough. No, that was one of my. Because you didn't have that many pictures of it. But the whole idea behind it, the whole process of what I saw, that was one of my favorite things that I think I've ever seen you all do, just so you know. So we're tell you what, we're going to go ahead and jump over, and we're going to do Bonehead Weekly's movie review. I've got that downloaded for everybody, and I'll come back and say goodbye to everybody after that.
Hey, this is Joe Lewis at Bonehead Weekly, and this week we're going to talk about a movie that's on HBO Max. Came out earlier this year. I was going to see it, and I was like, I don't know. It's okay. Couldn't make it out to it. It's an interesting premise. It's based on some sort of story by A.M. Shine. It's called The Watchers. And what it is there's this lady, played by Dakota Fanning. She's basically sad and has never gotten over the fact that she pretty much accidentally killed her mom. And she has a sister, we find out. And her sisters, they haven't talked in a long time. She leaves her voicemails, and she's going off to the woods for I still don't understand why. She gets stranded out in the woods in this untouched forest in Ireland and runs across this little place with 3 other strangers where there's this plate glass window where they can't really see on the other side. And at night, something comes out and watches, and they have to hunt for food during the day because they can't go outside at night, and they have to keep everything locked. And there's the watchers outside watching them, and we don't know who the watchers are. That's the plot. Is it any good? It's not terrible. Once again, it's one of those movies that's average at best. It's okay. Some of you are really going to like it. If you're really into fairy tales, fairies, all those kinds of mystical creatures, cryptoid, whatever, this movie's probably for you. It sells itself as a horror film, and to me, it's much more of a fantasy film, like a lot of M. Night's movies. It's not terrible. In fact, his daughter's a fairly decent director. It's just an average movie, though. It doesn't really take you anywhere that you haven't been before. The twist at the end isn't really a huge twist. Of course, you knew there would be a twist, but it's not really a big twist. In fact, the exposition parts, which I usually hate because exposition stops a movie. Character stops to explain the whole plot instead of organically kind of figuring it out as you go along with just the dialogue. Great writers do that. Stops to explain it. That part, actually, I kind of enjoyed. It's beautifully shot. Dakota Fanning's a wonderful actress. Olwen Ferrer, I can't say her name. I'd never heard of her or seen her in a lot. She was in that Texas Chainsaw movie on Netflix a couple of years ago. She played Sally. And she's been in a couple other things since then. The cast is fine. It's just meh. Should you run out and see it? No. Yeah, it's okay. If you have Max, check it out. If you're into and I keep saying fairies because it deals a lot with fairies and mystical creatures. Really, it's kind of more of that movie. It sells itself as a horror film, but it's not really horrific in any way. It's dark. It doesn't necessarily, there's just nothing scary about it. There's also nothing overly interesting, but I feel that I'm not the target audience. This is probably a movie for a lot of you out there who will probably enjoy it, and that's great. So a lot of people hated M. Night's movie Lady in the Water because it's a fantasy film. I actually liked Lady in the Water. It's a little like that, as if you like that, you'll probably like this, but if you didn't like that, this isn't for you. So should you watch The Watchers? It's okay. I'm going to give it, I hate doing this, but it's middle of the road, 5 out of 10. Nothing to write home about. There's not a lot to talk about here because it's just kind of a middle movie where if you've got an hour and a half to kill, check it out. Sorry, there's just not a lot to say. There's not a lot of crap, and it's not overly good. In fact, it's completely forgettable. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly reviewing The Watchers.
And we're back with a little more Scarefest TV. Tonight we're featuring Cosplay for a Cause. Okay, now back as far as Scarefest, let's get a plug in there. You guys are pretty much taking the reins, my understanding is, of Kids Day. Is that inaccurate, or did you all know about it?
Well, I mean, we're helping. Lola's actually the main lady in charge, but we are helping out as much as we possibly can this year.
Yes,
anything
they
special
are,
planned,
and I'm
Lola?
so thankful that they are helping out. Being the events and entertainment coordinator is a wonderful, wonderful position, but lots and lots of work. So I'm so thankful that they're stepping up to help on Sunday for Kids Day, and they are great at what they do. So I'm just honored to be part of it.
Now, one thing that I know y'all did in the past, and a lot of our Scarefest alumni will recognize, old Frank. Old Frank passed away. What is it, 2 years ago now?
Yes.
Now last year you all did an actual tribute to old Frank. Is there anything like that planned for this year?
Yes. We will have, if we don't have our sign up, we still are going to be collecting children's costumes. Well, also adult costumes, because a lot of the places that we donate to do have teenagers. And we will be taking them and still donating them. So anyone wants to swing by and drop off a costume, we will take it to where last year we took it to Greenhouse 17, and they absolutely adored them. They were so appreciative. They said that's one of the few things that they get donated to help out with. And for those that don't know, Greenhouse 17, that's a domestic violence shelter. And then the year before, we took it to Costumes. It was some kind of costume closet for lower income families that can't afford costumes for children. So we try to find a different place each time. Not everybody wants to take Halloween costumes, but we try to get them to anybody that needs them.
Okay. Now, other than Scarefest, of course, y'all will be at Scarefest. What do y'all have on your calendar coming up in the next month or two? Anything come to mind that you want to push?
The weekend of the 28th, we will be in Cynthiana for the Witches' Day Out. So we will see you
I'm
then.
out of town that weekend. I'm out of town.
You're going to be out of town. That's right.
Yes, I'm out of town. But yes, Witches' Day Out.
Yes. And then,
oh, my God. I hope the protesters show up. Will you all please do something for me if they show up? Okay.
Sacrifice a child. What do you got to be more specific what you want us to do.
I want you to do something to embarrass them. I don't know. You're in cosplay. My favorite story ever. They were covering that on the news, and the protest. They were covering Witches' Day Out, but they were talking about the protest, and they interviewed this one housewife from the county, and she goes, "I think they thought we were real witches." It's mostly housewives that enjoy dancing with brooms.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cosplay. Now I'm not saying there won't be some mixed in, but it's not a witch centric event. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
We have there is Comic Surge in Jessamine County, October 12th, I think it is.
Sounds great.
And then we have Scarefest, and we're pretty much set until December. And then we do Different World, which is an organization that provides entertainment for children with autism. And we'll bring Santa and his elves and Jack Frost out to that one. And then that finishes us off for the year, hopefully, because we are exhausted.
Now, you mentioned, okay, you'll be collecting costumes at Scarefest for charity. What else can people do to help the organization?
We will also be selling donated items that weekend, so they can come by the booth and help out. Or if they just have $1 or $2 that they want to throw into our buckets, they can do that. And we also have an Amazon wish list that we frequently post on our public page on Facebook. We take things on and off when we need them, and we will also post on there when we're in need of something to help us raise funds for the community.
Well, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm going to let you go now. I actually did learn some stuff tonight. This was actually education.
Awesome.
I know these people, and I really didn't know anything about the organization other than it had a really cool name. So everybody, this has been Scarefest TV.